From a speeding driver in Russia who flipped his Jeep on black ice, and a 100-car pileup in Canada that shut down the entire freeway, to a man from West Virginia who zigzagged his way out of a bad accident, and a highway catastrophe in Michigan that sent several people to the hospital. Here are some of the best moments of cars versus icy roads. The King's Highway 401 is a 514-mile road between Windsor in the west and the Ontario-Quebec border in the east. Fun fact, the section of the 401 that passes through Toronto is considered the busiest highway in North America. On January 7th of 2017, a massive snowstorm turned a stretch of the 401 near Newcastle into an ice rink. One crash led to another, and soon, the 401 was a parking lot of sideways cars and dented fenders. One local man was filming from the overpass and captured the 100-car pileup at its worst.
Oh, we saved it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, oh, oh.
Police said speed was a factor in virtually every crash. Some drivers admitted to going 50 miles per hour in whiteout conditions. "That's way too fast," said one police officer, adding that 6 to 12 miles per hour is a safer bet. Thankfully, there were no serious injuries during the pileup. According to our cameraman, several people were still taken to the hospital and treated for minor scrapes and bruises. There is no reason to travel at highway speeds during a snowstorm. In these cases, it's better to be late than sorry. The Yana Rally is an annual rally car racing event in Freistadt, Austria. It marks the season opening of the European, Austrian, and Czech Rally Championships. The name Yana Rally is German for January Rally. The wintertime race is often marked by snow-covered courses and icy turns. The 2020 race got off to a slippery start on January 4th. Watch as multiple drivers misjudge the same turn and spin their rally cars into the trees. We'd like to give special props to the cameramen standing in harm's way. The odds of getting hit by a rally car are pretty high, but that doesn't bother them. They clearly care more about getting the best shot. They also knew where the cars were most likely to wreck out. 6 cars crashed on the turn that day. 5 could continue, but 1 was too badly damaged. They tell you not to panic when your car skids on ice. Too bad that's easier said than done. This West Virginia driver almost became another statistic when he came up on a 40-car pileup. Instead of panicking and adding to the carnage, he zigzagged through the wreck and emerged unscathed on the other side.
Oh.
Our driver's life-saving decision was right here when he narrowly avoided the 18-wheeler barreling toward the crash site. It's a miracle the truck didn't hit anybody in general. The real question is luck versus skill. Did our cameraman panic and get lucky, or does he have a future career in stunt driving? Let us know in the comments below. Wujiaqiu, China is a county-level city in the country's northwestern corner. It's home to roughly 154,000 people who know how cold things can get in the winter. For some, snow and ice don't bother them. In fact, they see it as a challenge. It was February 12th of 2019. A man was driving with his wife and mother-in-law when he spotted a frozen lake outside of Wujiaqiu. He had the bright idea of driving onto the ice and drifting his car. Moments later, he nearly learned a valuable lesson about natural selection.
这边是他们的，这里没有了，要上去了，他好像没了，没了，害怕，我看啊！哦呦！啊，我害怕，上去吧，我们上去嘛，我害怕。快点逃！快点！妈妈！不叫！
可怜的霸道车主啊！昨天飞口发来了，车塌到冰里面了，到现在还没有捞出来。冰又冻上了，现在捞都不好捞了。
你不怕的，我是你知名的吗？我不认识。哎，我咋看？
According to translations of the video, the wife said, "Let's go back, I'm scared." Seconds later, the car fell in. Aftermath footage shows a group trying to remove the car from its icy grave. We don't know if the lake was shallow or so cold that ice formed faster than the vehicle could sink. Either way, this daredevil will likely think twice before putting his family in harm's way, assuming they ever get in the car with him again. Battle Creek, Michigan is a small city of 52,000 in Calhoun County. It's widely known as the Cereal City as it's the corporate home of W.K. Kellogg Company. Cereal was the last thing on anybody's mind during this January 2015 snowstorm. Whiteout conditions made driving dangerous, if not impossible. Still, hundreds of people braved the conditions to get to work on time. All it took was one speeding driver to cause one of the worst pileups you'll ever see.
No. Oh no. Oh. Watch out. Lord. Oh, look at this truck. What do you think? He can't do anything.
According to police, roughly 150 cars and trucks were involved in the crash. Several people were hospitalized, and one Canadian truck driver lost his life. One truck carrying fireworks caught fire and exploded, setting off an early 4th of July display. Another tanker full of acid leaked onto the road. Things didn't get easier once people escaped their cars. It was 12 degrees Fahrenheit out, and some weren't dressed to handle the cold. Thankfully, city buses arrived later and transported the shivering crash victims to a nearby school for warmth. Now, we can easily blame the Battle Creek pileup on speed and whiteout conditions. Things get extra dangerous when black ice enters the chat. Take this dashcam footage from Russia, for example. Keep your eye on the Jeep ahead of our driver. Sure, there's snow and visibility isn't great, but both drivers can still see what's ahead. That's when the Jeep hits a patch of black ice and suddenly loses control. The driver fights and desperately tries to straighten out, but it's useless. The Jeep rolls over, narrowly avoiding a nasty fall down the embankment. When caught in a slide, the first thing you should do is take your foot off the gas. Resist the urge to slam on the brakes. Doing so will only make things worse. Gently turn into the slide, but be careful not to oversteer or you'll end up like this Russian driver. The first snowball fight caught on camera occurred in Lyon, France, circa 1897. It was filmed by the Lumiere brothers, who are among the world's first filmmakers. Since then, snowball wars have kept us entertained in the winter. Unfortunately, some folks don't know how to have fun. It was February 10th of 2019. A group of family, friends, and strangers from Capitol Hill, Seattle began lobbing snowballs at each other across the road. This turned into an all-out war around 7 o'clock that night. That's when a woman in a blue Jeep drove through the line of fire. One of the snowballs allegedly hit her car, which she didn't appreciate. She circled back 10 minutes later and escalated the snowball war significantly.
Oh my god. Yo, you fucking. Yo.
You got it inside my car.
Hey. Chill. Hey. Girl, yo. Hey, chill.
Jesse. Get in there. No, Jesse, get in there. Jesse, get in.
And you hit a bitch.
Let go. Let go.
Yeah, you didn't hit me.
Let go.
You threw the
Let go.
punch, dumbass.
Let go. You ran at me. Let go.
Yeah, what?
You're good. Before you wreck your car or cause any more issues, please drive away.
Let go of my leg.
You're gonna cause more issues?
Let go of my mother. Hey, are you okay? No, I'm not. Can you call the police for me?
Yeah, you're trying to run people down.
Yeah, you trying to run.
Yeah, attempted manslaughter, bitch.
Thank you. Just give her a second. You dumb bitch.
Guys, give her a second.
She drove right towards me and came within inches of my legs, our cameraman said. That's when he started recording and watched the woman nearly run his friends over. The driver got her wish when someone called 911. The cops arrived and determined her to be under the influence of marijuana. She was later arrested for DUI and reckless driving. The worst part about snowy conditions is that you can't predict or control other drivers. You can do everything the right way. All it takes is one idiot to ruin it for everybody. This Canadian trucker learned the value of defensive driving on March 26th of 2015. The conditions were terrible in Winnipeg that day. He knew how to drive in them, but couldn't say the same for everybody else.
Yeah, so it was actually 2 semis. We jacked left for number 1 highway, then they both collided. No. Holy
Look how close these trucks came to hitting each other. We're talking inches, maybe even centimeters. Thankfully, both drivers were okay. Similar scenes unfolded across Manitoba as buckets of snow fell on the province. The RCMP said they responded to 21 crashes that morning, one of which involved a school bus. Other people were trapped on the highway for nearly 2 hours when a different pair of semi-trucks collided, jackknifed, and blocked every lane. Minnesota is the third coldest state in the U.S., behind North Dakota and, obviously, Alaska. The average annual temperature is only 41.9 degrees Fahrenheit. That drops to 14.1 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, with a record low of minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit on February 2nd of 1996. Horrible driving conditions are why the Minnesota Department of Transport is happy to release footage of wintertime pileups. They figure the best way to teach drivers a lesson is to show them how easily accidents can happen. Take this multi-car crash from December 18th of 2016. According to the DOT, the men you see pulled off to the side had skidded around the turn and crashed into the snowbank. Moments later, they were running for their lives when a white SUV hit the inside wall and began sliding right toward them. Several other drivers narrowly missed each other. Then, a white sedan hit the same spot but avoided skidding out. Iowa has a similar wintertime problem. The average winter temperature hovers around the low 20s, leading to slick conditions on highways like I-35. Traffic cameras were rolling around noon when cars began sliding and piling up on the road. The whiteout conditions made it hard to tell who hit who first. At this point, it doesn't really matter. You can barely see the pile from the traffic cam's vantage point. Imagine being on the road that day. You likely wouldn't see it until it's too late. We believe that's what happened to every other driver on I-35 that day. A few minutes later, and things could have gone from bad to worse. A box truck tries to stop, but winds up spinning and crashing into several other cars. One big rig splits the gap and winds up on the snowy grass. A second truck isn't so lucky. Their cargo spins out and sandwiches several cars together. By 12:30, I-35 looked more like a demolition derby. One driver slams into the pile while others are seen climbing from their cars and walking around. This was the scene for the remainder of the day until police and rescue could arrive to assess the damage. Between 50 and 70 cars, trucks, and buses were involved in the crash. However, it was only one of 185 different highway crashes that Iowa State police officers responded to that day. Ice and gravity don't go together. Just ask this driver from Astoria, Oregon. He lost control on a slippery hill and couldn't stop himself from hitting another wrecked car. Now, what if we told you this clip doesn't tell the whole story? Our driver was never trying to go downhill. In fact, he and the other wrecked car were going uphill. They didn't have enough horsepower or traction to overcome the ice. They spun out, twisted around, and slid all the way back down. Thankfully, the crash wasn't severe enough to cause significant issues, and it doesn't look like that person's home sustained any major damage. Imagine sipping hot cocoa in the morning. Then, all of a sudden, somebody's SUV is crashing through your living room. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.